All right, welcome people to this class. We will be considering or looking at the tools in Photoshop. Okay, so we want to understand some basic tools that we'll be making use of as a graphic designer and for this course. Okay, so we probably might be using the Illustrator tool, Adobe Illustrator, but once you understand the tools here, understanding that of Illustrator will be much more easier. Okay, so now let's look at each of these tools and what they do. Okay, let's look at what they do. Now this is called, the first one is called the move tool. Okay, it's called the move tool and it is used to move elements around on the canvas. Okay, for instance, let me have this tool. Let me quickly make use of this tool, which is the shape tool. Okay, now when you left click on the tool, it gives you several other tools that is nested inside that tool. Do you get it now? So we have the rectangular tool. Okay, you have the round rectangle tool, and we have the ellipse tool, we have the polygon tool, we have the line and the custom shapes. Okay, so let me just, for this class, let me just quickly make use of the rectangular tool. So because whatever I draw, I can change the color here. Okay, but it actually takes the foreground color. Okay, so either I change the color here or here. So now the color is set to a deep blue. Okay, now once I make my shape, now note this. I'm explaining the shape tool now. Okay, with this I'm going to explain the move tool. All right, so if you are working with your shape tool, the moment you click and start drawing, okay, if you want a rectangle, you just draw until you are satisfied. Okay, and you're satisfied with the length and the breadth. So once you are satisfied, you drop. Okay, all right, and then you have your shape. But if you want a perfect square, okay, you don't need to stress yourself. Okay, although you have the numbers here, the height and the width okay, so for you to start trying to make it accurate might be stressful. So just hold on your shift key and then you have a perfect square. Do you get now? You can see that the height and the width are the same. That's 2.740 inches as it is. So once you release, you're fine. Do you get that? So still the same tool, the rectangular tool, but does two functions. That is, if you want to have the rectangle and also if you want to have the square. Okay, do we get that? So now back to the move tool. Move tool is used to actually move objects or elements on your canvas. Okay, so if you want to move anything on your canvas, okay, you have to go back to the move tool. Okay, if I remain on the shape tool, I would not be able to move these. Instead, it's going to be creating more shapes for me. Okay, so you need to go back to move tool, the move tool rather, and then you'll be able to move it here and there. Okay, places where you want it to be actually. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so the next tool is the next tool is the marquee tool. The marquee tool is a selection tool, and it's a selection tool. It can be used to make selections. Okay, probably say for instance I want to use this ellipse, the elliptical marquee tool, okay, to make a selection. Okay, you can see that it's not giving me the perfect circle. Okay, but when I hold on the shift key, you get a perfect circle. Do you get that? Okay, so once I'm done, okay, I need to do something here so that so if I want to make any effect on this selected part, okay, you just probably I want to delete that portion. Okay, I hit on the delete button on my keyboard, so it only affects the selected portion. So that's what the mark queue tool do, or does rather, use for selection. Okay, we're going to be using it so much during the training, so I want you to get acquainted with it. Okay, so we also have the lasso tool. Okay, the lasso tool is a selection tool too, and we have several of it. We have the lasso tool, we have the polygonal lasso tool, we have the magnetic lasso tool. All right, let me just get in a picture, an image. Okay, get an image, and then we can work with. Okay, let me get an image and work with. Okay, I think I need, let me draw this in. Let me bring this in. Okay, all right, let me move this up. Okay, so the polygonal lasso tool can be used to cut out image from background. Okay, though not the perfect tool to use, but it still works. Okay, still works. So, and this is how to make use of it. Okay, so once you zoom in using your control and plus, you're going to zoom out, use control and minus. Okay, and if you need to actually move to the side, okay, just hold on your space bar, then you see this hand appear, then you can now drag to wherever you want. Okay, so I think I'm cool like this. So, and I can start making my selection. Okay, so this one you have to be clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking, clicking and clicking like that. Okay, tracing the edges of your image, tracing the edges of your image. Okay, so like so, let me just okay, I just want to do something. Say I am probably done with this. Okay, so I return it back to the point I started from. Okay, so the moment I'm done, okay, I've made my selection. Mind you, this is just for the class. Okay, so you have to do a perfect tracing. Okay, so I want to cut out this point or this selection, okay, from the image itself. So what I do is to cut out that particular selection by pressing Ctrl and J. So you can see on the layers panel that that part is actually out. Okay, but yet still on this, so I can actually hide this and hide this part, and I'll be left with the image that I just traced. Okay, so that is that. Then for the magnetic lasso tool, that one does magic. Okay, so let's see how it works. Okay, so what you just need to do is just to, once immediately you start clicking, or you click rather, you just begin to move your tool at the edges of the image, and Photoshop detects the image by the edges by itself. Okay, so just click and then begin to move. I'm not doing anything, I'm not clicking anything, just move it. Okay, I'm just moving it, and Photoshop is doing its calculation. Okay, detecting the edge of the image. All right, now what Photoshop does here is calculates the color, the difference in color. Okay, so sorry, so if I to undo my mistakes, I just press on backspace on my keyboard. Okay, so you can see Photoshop doing the selection by itself. All right, so but this is not really the perfect tool to use. Okay, Okay, so like so, you can see it's not really the perfect tool to use. It's just so that's how it works. That's how it works. Okay. Okay. So you can see Photoshop doing the magic by itself. I'm not doing anything actually. Just I don't need to be perfect with this. So then I take it back to where I started from and then click. So Photoshop makes this selection, and then I can do the same thing, Control and J. Oh sorry, I think I made a mistake there. So it should be on this, Control and J, and then I have this selection made. Okay, so that is that. I also have the quick selection tool. It's also a selection tool. Okay, let me show you how that one works quickly. Photoshop also do the selection by itself. Okay, so to enlarge this brush, you use your open bracket key on your keyboard, and then to reduce it, use your close bracket. Okay, so begin to rub on the image. So you see this, something went wrong here. Okay, so I go again and zoom in actually, and then carefully rub on the part I want Photoshop to select. Okay, this is a mistake, sorry. So the part I want Photoshop to actually select for me. So in the case whereby I've made, this one is quite fast but not the best. Look at this, I've selected outside the image. So to deselect that part, just hold on Alt, then you see that plus here on the brush has changed to minus. Let me release it, change it back to plus. Plus means you are adding up, okay, selection, then minus means you are removing. So once it turns to minus, you then remove that portion. Okay, remove that portion. So I think I'm cool like so, and then I can put it on Control and J again. So this is what I have using the quick selection tool, but several things will be wrong. Check if you check the image, look at the selection, you see that. So it's not a perfect tool though, but I just need to pull you through. So another important tool you'll be making use of is the brush tool. So the brush tool, reduce the brush by using the close bracket. Okay, so the brush tool actually make use of the foreground color. This is the foreground color. So, and then you can adjust the settings of the brush here. Okay, reduce the hardness, and then you can actually adjust the size here. Okay, if you want it to be hard, okay, you see, okay, this is a flow. So normally your flow will be at 100%. Okay, so the brush tool actually makes use of the foreground color, and there are several functions you need it for. Okay, several things you need it for. Okay, most times I use it it's always set at the least hardness. Okay, very soft. Okay, so you can actually achieve several effects using this brush. So that's that on the brush tool. Okay, so we have the pencil tool, and there you have the clone stamp tool. Okay, you would probably might not need this. Okay, you have the eraser tool, and then okay, this one is very important, the gradient tool. Okay, So once you click on the tool, its properties comes here. So you want to change the color, and adjust from here. Okay, so you can select from the presets here. Okay, but if you want to set yours, you're good to go. So I just click on this place and click on here to change the color, and when you're okay, you click on OK. So you can then create a new layer here, and you can just use it as an effect. Okay, so, and then you can also use it with a layer mask. All right, you can use to work on the layer mask. So that is that about the gradient tool. We have the paint bucket tool, and talked about the text tools used to write text in your design, okay, your project. Okay, that's the typography tool or the text tool. So the next one is the shape tool. As I explained, is used to create shapes for your designs. So I believe you've been able to learn something. You've been able to learn the tools, and with constant practice, and as we get into practical proper, you'll see how we're making use of these tools to make powerful and catchy design. Thank you for joining the class, and I'd love to see you in the next class. Bye for now.